Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone here to our council meeting on July 23rd at 1 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. We're now going to do something a little bit different with our land acknowledgement. Now, before we begin our meeting, I will introduce a new way of honoring the traditional lands on which we gather. Thank you for your communication team at the County of Peterborough, who in spirit of cooperation, respect, and contemplation have prepared a land acknowledgement video that will now precede our meetings. And after the video, I'd like to also mention that we'll do our moment of silent reflection right after it. Thank you.
With deep respect, we acknowledge the lands and interconnected waterways that bind us together, the foundation for all life. These lands serve as a keeper of history and stories and are a source of inspiration. In recognizing this, we embrace that all living things possess an important energy and purpose. We extend the utmost gratitude to the original peoples who have been caretakers of these lands and waters of this region from time immemorial, and to this day who continue this commitment. Peterborough County's dedication to reconciliation remains steadfast. In this spirit, we are committed to nurturing meaningful partnerships and connections that contribute to an environment of prosperity and well-being for all generations to come. This acknowledgement is made on the Treaty 20 land and the territory of the Mississauga and Anishinaabe, and within the traditional lands of the Mississauga and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaty First Nations. Further, our gratitude is extended to the nations of Alderville, Beausoleil, Curve Lake, Georgina Island, Hiawatha, Rama, and Scugog Island.
I will now ask members to declare any pecuniary interest before this council. Seeing no hands, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. I have a motion to approve today's agenda as circulated. As circulated, Councillor Ward, Councillor Walsh. Any discussions? All in favor? Motion's carried. Approval of the minutes of June 25th. Approval of the prior meeting minutes. I'm looking for a motion to adopt the regular meeting minutes of the 25th as presented or amended. Councillor Hodge-Reeves.
As presented.
As presented. Second by Deputy Mayor Burt. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. Moving along to the consent agenda. Any business arising from the minutes, councilors? No. Moving on to the consent agenda. Correspondence items, C1 through C10, staff reports, R1 through R4, and the cemetery board minutes of April 16th. Do we have somebody to approve as circulated or amended? Moved by Deputy Mayor Burt. Second by Councillor Ward. Any discussion? Councillor Walsh.
If I could just pull C7 and C8 for comment, please.
All right. Anyone else? Would you like to discuss them right now?
I can, and basically just comments. So C7 regarding Orca, really just, I guess, congratulations to Orca Caves 60th anniversary. That's pretty amazing that we have that facility very close to us. And the second part of that is just to revise residents, because it was new to me, was that kayaks and paddleboards can be rented at Beaver Mead, Lakeville Campground, or of course up Cave. So that's just another thing that they will do. And if they're okay, I'll do C.
Yes.
C8 is really just regarding the waste management master plan from the county. Just a reminder to residents, there is a survey out there that people can go online and express their thoughts on that survey. So I'll be nice to have many residents participating in.
Yes. So all in favor of the motion now? The motion's carried. On the delegations and presentations, we have Lori Ricci from the County of Peterborough with us today to provide physician recruitment and retention activities update. Please proceed, Lori.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here today. The purpose of my visit today is really to introduce myself, to ensure that all counselors are familiar with myself and my role, to give a little update of what I've been up to. So if you could just go to the next slide, please. So back in 2023, Peterborough County recognized the need to have dedicated physician recruiter to represent the 8 lower tier townships. Up to that point, it had been a combined role with the city and the county. And it was felt that it was important, especially in the times that we're in now, to focus strictly on the county as a whole. So the new position of Healthcare Advancement Coordinator was created, and I started the role in late October of 2023. I do report directly to Sheridan, but I do work collaboratively with the 8 lower tier township CAOs on projects that have been agreed upon by the parties. So I present a work plan at the beginning of the year. We discuss it, revise as necessary, and then that is kind of what I work upon for that year. I do meet a few times a year with the CAO group to provide updates of where I'm at and individually as required. I do bring 28 years of healthcare experience to the role. 14 of those was in long-term care and 14 in primary care with the Peterborough Family Health Team. I started in human resources, became the director of operations, and for the last 5 years between 2015 and 2020, I was executive director, but I was also physician recruiter for City and County of Peterborough at that time. And my background is in human resources. So I do enjoy meeting and greeting and introducing new people into communities and organizations. Next slide, please. So the current state of primary care is really quite messy. It's not just within Peterborough County or Ontario, it's actually across the country and probably across the world. It's currently estimated that there are 32,000 people without access to a family doctor in Peterborough City and County. And that is expected to grow across the province to 1 to 4. From that number, we're already at pretty much at the 1 to 4 ratio here within our area. So the data shows that it will grow to 4.4 million over the next 2 years within the province of Ontario. Next slide. So the Ontario College of Family Physicians lists a number of reasons for this, and it includes the increasing administrative burden, a lack of team supports, which does not apply in our particular area, the compensation for family physicians not keeping pace with inflation, retirement. The baby boomers also hit the group of physicians. You know, the vast majority of our physicians are in that baby boomer retirement age, and a decline in number of medical students actually choosing to practice family medicine or to choose family medicine to practice full time. So these, coupled with the population growth that's happening within your township and the other townships within Peterborough County, makes the need for this position very, very critical. And I do need the help of the community to be successful in this role. Next slide, please. So in the first 9 months of the role, I've identified a number of challenges. The first one being lack of infrastructure. That's not the case in your wonderful township with your beautiful facility where your physicians are currently practicing. But in pretty much any other township, it has grown, but they have not thought or have any plans to build a medical facility. So while I could recruit till the cows come home, there's nowhere to put these physicians. Lack of accurate data. Where did that 32,000 come from? I'm not really sure where they get that number from. Who are the people? Where do they live? A lack of candidates. You know, you can advertise a position and you get very, very little response, if any, to the position. Spousal employment opportunities. More and more females are becoming family physicians, meaning that their spousal partners generally, well, all families really become 2-income families these days. That's changing. So we need to ensure that we can find appropriate opportunities for the spouse. Lack of daycare. At last count, it's about 5,000 people on a waiting list in Peterborough City County for daycare. Housing, this used to be an extremely affordable county to move to. That's no longer the case. We're no longer, our prices are skyrocketing with the introduction of the 407. I think that had a big impact upon us. And then the family health organization restraints. So a family health organization is a group of physicians that collectively work together under an agreement. And through that agreement, they become part of the family health team, which gives them access to the team supports. The family health organizations have the ability to say yes or no to adding physicians to their group. And that is outside of our control. If they say no, then it's very difficult to recruit a physician, because a physician wants to work in a family health organization model, because it's the highest compensation model for a family physician within the province of Ontario. And secondly, it gives access to the team supports. Next slide. So some of the solutions that I've been working on is starting to think outside the box, because what we've been doing, we can no longer continue to do if we want to be successful. So I'm looking at, I am leading the formation of an Eastern Ontario Recruitment Alliance. Traditionally, recruiters have worked independently and in competition with other recruiters or other communities. That is not going to serve us well, because we need to look outside of our own borders now. We need to start looking internationally, both at repatriating our Canadians or our Ontarians who have gone overseas or to the States or the Caribbean for their medical education, and further to that, to other physicians whose medical education is recognized here in Canada, and that would be citizens of Great Britain, UK, Ireland, Australia, and the United States. And so with this alliance, we are going to be focusing on international recruitment, an applicant tracking tool where we can keep track of our leads, and also a national or a provincial job board. So from the creation of the Eastern, we're looking to create an Ontario alliance. And with that, you can imagine the lobbying power that we will have as recruiters and municipalities. I'd be working with the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus, for example, to help lobby for change. So a lot of lobbying needs to happen, because again, our current system is not working. I have done some on my own, as listed there on the slide, but it will be a lot more effective as a group. I am looking to create an ambassador program. So further, when I said I can't do this on my own, I need members from each community to become ambassadors to help me, with the recruitment process, but also with the onboarding of physicians into the community. So let's just say they have children and they play hockey. Let's hook them up with somebody who has children of similar age and help them to learn the ropes and become friends with, and help to be integrated into the community, to make sure that they're included in community events, to make sure that, we make sure that we get them what they need to be happy in our community and remain in our community. So I think you're all aware that I launched Your Health Matters campaign. That's kind of our tagline. We've created a website, a page off of the Peterborough County website, and I'll be working with the individual townships on furthering that. But we've created a Facebook account, an Instagram account, a LinkedIn account, and we've created a needs assessment. And that's basically a list where people can sign up who are looking for a physician closer to home, whether they have a physician or not. I'm not collecting any medical data, just simply their contact information. And this is the list that I will use to recruit from, to help determine where we need to build infrastructure when a new physician comes, to be able to help them build their roster so that they can get paid. And then lastly, after I've done my presentations to all of the councils, I'm looking to organize town halls in the fall, whereby I bring in members of the community. It may not be necessary within your community, and we'll chat about that, Alan and I. But in other communities where they don't have the infrastructure, what is it that they're looking for within their community? Next slide. I also conducted a physician health human resource survey of our 18 physicians that we have. I'm grateful that I got 100% response rate on that survey. Some of the key pieces of information that are important to share are that 8 plan on practicing 10 plus more years, 3 plan on practicing 5 to 10, but there's 7 who plan on retiring within 2 to 5 years. They're currently looking after 24,000 rostered patients. And my next step is to meet with each physician individually, because there were a number of other questions. I did share an infographic yesterday with Alan, who can share with council if they feel that it would be of interest. That kind of gives more detail on the other questions and the responses while keeping it anonymous. So I'm currently looking for 3 physician vacancies within Peterborough County, 1 for Lakefield, the Morton, 2 for Kinmount, and there is currently 1 NP vacancy that is under the Victoria Order of Nurses in Keene. Next slide, yep. So I know this is really, really small, but this is a tally that I'm keeping of the numbers of the people that are registering on the list or calling me. I'm sorting it by township. Your Asphodel-Norwood Township Municipal Office also has a list. And so I was able to take those numbers from the time of inception. And so that's that first line. And those are the ones that you have on the list. So we're over, I'm not sure the last date on that, but we're over 3,000 people on the list now. I do know that it is much more than that. So I need help from your community to spread the word about this. To let people know that we need accurate numbers so that we can plan appropriately. Next slide. So that's a very quick rundown of some of the key highlights of things that I've been working on. I am happy to answer any questions, and I do look forward to coming back on an annual basis with an update to keep everybody apprised of what's happening.
Thank you, Lori. Councilors, yeah, questions for Lori? I have one. I'll start. Do you think the Family Health Organization has too much say?
Yes, it's
Way
my
too
personal
much say?
opinion, but I have no that has, that's just an opinion because I really have no control over that.
And the
That
one
is
that controls them is who? What's the organization?
the Ministry of Health.
Ministry of Health. Okay, thank you. Councilor Walsh?
I'm just gonna piggyback on Lord on the same question that came through your mayor. It's just, yeah, how the Family Health Organization restrains that, that's gotta go in the top chapters. And what can we do outside of, I guess, lobbying the Minister of Health with everybody to?
Yeah, through you, Chair, I am looking, if we are building new infrastructure, then I would be looking to form a new family health organization and pray that the ministry is accepting applications for a new family health organization. You do need a minimum of 6 physicians. But I would envision building a couple of health hubs if I could have my dream within Peterborough County, and they would have a minimum of 6 physicians in each health hub. Form 2 separate family health organizations, have a multidisciplinary site, again, build a beautiful facility that attracts people where a physician actually wants to practice in the model of care in which they were trained in. So that would be the ultimate goal, would be to lobby for 2 new family health organizations, access to team-based supports, that hopefully the constraints get loosened on that. That's certainly a huge lobbying point with the negotiations with the OMA and the Ministry of Health.
And just to build on that, the hub idea I love, we're kind of well on our way to being able to handle this part of the county.
Yeah.
So there is a number of challenges and they're all important. So if you had to narrow it down, because everything comes down to time and money, of those challenges, which ones do you think, if you had to prioritize those challenges, what would you say are the top 2?
Infrastructure, for sure, because a physician does not want to come and work solo in there's tons of empty banks or different things that are smaller. That's not what is going to help me in attracting physicians to this area. So infrastructure for sure. And then the ability to seek outside of Ontario, and that's where the banding together and, broadening our recruitment focus beyond Ontario.
Deputy Mayor Burke?
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation again, Lori. And again, family health team, that was my question. Can we create one? So you did answer that, because to me, that is an issue and has been an issue because they share resources coming from the Ministry of Health, right? And the current foes want to protect that, correct? Okay, that was my question, but it's nice to hear that maybe down the road that can happen. So the mayor and the CAO were successful in getting a delegation at AMO with the Ministry of Health. I guess, do you know if the county got one as well, sorry?
Our delegation right now is with the, OMA, so.
Okay,
We're
okay,
still
that was
waiting to hear
MOA.
back. We have, we're hoping to hear by the end of this week.
Okay.
Or early next week on whether we've got one for this trip.
Oh, okay,
So through you, Chair, I am going along with the Ontario Wardens Caucus. And with Meredith, and I will be co-presenting with Meredith, and I'm helping her to write our briefing for the presentation to the OMA. Because the Wardens Caucus does have that briefing, the county removed their request for a delegation.
Okay.
Councillor Ward?
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Thank you again for the presentation. It's always insightful and sometimes with different knowledge that we don't have. But I was wondering, so we have the infrastructure, so we don't have a medical hub, I guess, the formal or whatever you want to call it. So what would be the next step for our township? Like if we're looking for any funding or anything like that, is there anything like that out there?
Through you, Mayor, you do have a hub. It's just a
Yes,
smaller
a smaller,
version of a hub. I mean, you have a pharmacy there and you have room for your allied health professionals. So you do have
Sure.
on in-house mental health support and registered dietitian. There is an office there that I believe is a swing office that, we can certainly talk about bringing in. We've talked about rotating specialists or working on different things to bring in. We've met with social services, potentially about coming to, to help people who are on OW or help with ODSP applications. So that will depend upon the need that the physicians there see. And I can certainly help with that. There is really no funding for that, but some of those services we would not need to pay for. We could simply, even, give the space or charge a lower rent for that space for them to come and use that. So I would say that your medical center is an excellent location with a lot of services. It's just unfortunate that there's too many people, right? Like if it was double the size, we could be really serving further communities, without it being on your tax base.
And if I may
Go
have
ahead.
one more question, what has your success rate been at getting doctors to the county?
So far, since since I started, 0. I've helped to onboard a couple of new physicians. I'm working closely with the physicians at your new medical center, as well as the new physician in Buckhorn. I really, like I said, I've toured 2 physicians, but and both of them liked the opportunities, but their spouses need employment before they will relocate from another province to come here. And so I've been working through the chamber and through other organizations to spread resumes and out through different companies with no success.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Any further questions? Thank you, Lori, for your time.
You're welcome.
Yes, can I have a motion to accept the Peterborough County physician recruitment retention activities update for information? Councillor Walsh, Councillor Hodge Greaves, any questions? All in favor? Motion's carried. Moving along to, I guess you're gonna compile Peacock today? Okay, moving along to staff and committee reports, Stan Height replacement update, CAO Allen.
So, through you, Mayor, as you said, for today, I am Kyle, well, for this part, I'll be Alan again in a little bit, but for right now, I am Kyle. We gave him a week's holiday, so. I think everybody knows one of the biggest projects that we've had going on for a while has been the new standpipe. So there was the build, there was the connection, which has all gone very well. Now we're at the spot where we're just about to finish that project. We're hoping the project will wrap up probably by the end of September, and the big pieces to go on the project are the old tower coming down, and the landscaping and the fencing that goes with it. So right now, that the project is currently within budget. We expect it to stay that way. And hopefully by the end of September, we'll be able to say we're 100% done.
Thank you, Alan. Any questions? Councilors? No? Can I get a motion to accept this report for information? Deputy Mayor Byrd. Councillor Ward. All in favor? Motion's carried. R6, Seamus McDougall. Donation plaques and community care, Seamus. Please.
Thank you, through your mayor. So the first of three reports today is with the donation plaque at the festival. So a recommendation, that the council of the township of Asphodel-Norwood receives this report regarding the donation plaque project in the Asphodel-Norwood Community Center for information. And further, that the council of the township of Asphodel-Norwood directs staff to proceed with the project presented to enhance the Asphodel-Norwood Community Center festival. So with the fitness center project, it began in 2022, and was completed in early 2023. This project created an opportunity, as we now have a larger, more accessible, more opportunity to do something with this festival. So in the fall of 2023, discussions were held regarding this initiative. However, with the departure of the previous CEO, our treasurer, this project stalled. Staff initially believed there was funds allocated for this project this year, but later discovered there wasn't. So residents and local organizations have since provided staff with feedback and inquiries about if the return of the pictures and plaque will be going up, when they'll be going up, which were presented before the renovation. Given the historical significance and effort invested in establishing the Asphodel-Norwood Community Center, staff consider it crucial to preserve this history and keep all the sponsor boards that are in the lobby in the same location they are and have been since 2004 without doing anything to them. The festival serves as the first space patrons enter upon arriving at the ANCC, whether it's coming into the Millennium Room, whether it's going to the new fitness center studio, or whether it's going into the ice circus. Despite the absence of a 2024 budget for this project, extensive discussion among staff have generated brainstormed ideas for enhancing the festival. Staff have proposed the following project. So as you enter from outside, the wall on your right would include all photos that have relation to this building. So that entails the original photo from 2004. Staff also thought it'd be a cool idea to now with the renovation to take a new photo in 2024 and put it beside each other, because as people now enter the building, I guarantee they will have no idea how the old original building looked. So it'll be cool to look back and be like, oh, I remember how there was a garden. I remember how there was a flagpole. It also would include the plaque for the Asphodel-Norwood Community Center opening. So that includes the number of councils and the date this building opened. The Action 2000 plaque, so that lists the names of members who were on the Action 2000 committee, as well as the Lions Donation plaque. So now, as you're entering from outside, the wall on the left, which is your fitness center studio, staff would put up, or proposing putting up the Asphodel-Norwood Community Center commemorative tree planting program. So that was 2005. So obviously the building was open in 2004. They waited a year and then planted their first set, as well as the beautification committee trees donation plaques from 2009 to 2016. So to explain why there was a gap, beautification committee didn't start till 2008. So that's why there was a gap, and then they took a year, probably get budget fundraising, and that's why the plaques start from 2009, go to 2016. When staff toured the North Kawartha Community Center in January of 2023 to explore their fitness center, they were impressed by the lettering above each room, which helped patrons identify individual rooms easily. So staff priced out an opportunity with a local business here, and then after talking to the CA librarian, staff discovered that the library has a Cricut machine, which could be capable of creating similar letters with minus the tenth of the budget. So staff are recommending the following. So above the doors, the vestibule to the lobby, it says ice surface. On your way out after here, we actually have the word ice up already. So it'd be a general idea to see how big the letters and what it would look like. Above the doors from vestibule to Millennium Room, it would say Millennium Room. Above the doors from the vestibule to the fitness center and studio, it would say fitness center and studio. Currently, on the windows in this room and the fitness center, it says those rooms, but we think it all looking the same, it's gonna stand out more and be easily able to identify. Lettering would be black vinyl with 6 inches in height. Staff believe in doing this, it will make it easier for patrons to identify each room. Staff also feels it will benefit away teams coming to play games or tournaments, or fair attendees, new residents, whether it's a fitness center coming in for a township event attendees, country jamboree attendees, fitness center members, user groups who rent spaces. And the last one, it's been evident recently with the amount of interviews the township have been doing. Staff have actually had to tell people, like they come into the lobby and say, hey, do you know where the boardroom is? Do you know where this is? So that way, when they actually come in, they can clearly see, oh, my interview is in this room. I know where it is because a lot of the, not all of them, but a lot of the new potential employees or new employees, this could be the first ever time they've entered this building. Financial implications, so this would entail staff time, purchasing materials for vinyl lettering, as well as purchasing materials to hang the pictures on the plaques. Engagement executive assistant and CEO librarian were involved in this project. So conclusion, township staff recommend council approving this project to enhance the ANCC vestibule. Further along, what's attached were pictures, so you can see, we're putting up all the exact pictures. We're not copying any and changing them. So any questions?
Any questions of Seamus, councillors? Councillor Walsh?
Yeah, for you, Mayor. Just two quick ones. Seamus, thank you very much for this. I know I've had a few organizations continually asking me when this is gonna happen, so this is good news. I guess only two things. One is 6 inches high enough? Again, I have no idea. Is that gonna make it jump out or not, or should we be, or is that sort of a cricket machine's capabilities or?
So through Mayor, thanks for the question, Council Walsh. So, you're welcome after this meeting to see how it looks and provide feedback if you think. Because before, when we got the quote from the outside person, fitness center, because it's longer, they proposed 4 inches, but we like it to be the same across the board. You don't want one room being 4 inches in size, another 2 rooms being 6 inches. So that could be something, maybe it's 7, 8, if it has to.
Okay, and I like the idea of the uniformity, that one's not bigger than the other. And the second question is, that would still leave us down the road if we ever wanted to do some mural, like, I know, I just want to say, these surface across there, but would still leave us some room if we ever wanted to consider adding a mural of a hockey player, a bigger scale of a ball hockey player. Just to add a little bit more of them, just a straight white wall.
Through your Mayor, so yeah, so the goal would be trying to put it just above kind of the doors so that it does allow room. Eventually, if this building ever expanded where you had to say it's ice surface and this, or if it's a mural, we're also, we'd be keeping the township plaques. So that's, when they used to do the fire truck full of Canada Day, the JJ Stewart plaque, they would stay in the vestibule. Because.
In the lobby?
Sorry, yes, they would stay in the lobby because they're township. We want the vestibule to kind of be the Asphodel-Norwood Community Center. That's why it's original pictures for the trees.
I like how you've done your homework. You said 6 inches. It's most likely the same as what you've seen at, what was the other one that you went through?
Northworth is a little bigger, but that's something we can definitely evaluate if we don't think
Right.
6 inches is gonna stand out enough.
Right. Councillor Burke, or Deputy Mayor Burke, so.
Thank you for you. Thank you, Seamus, for this very, very detailed, and certainly you did put financial implications on here. They're very small, other than staff time is going to take quite a bit. Obviously that is in the budget, even though this was not budgeted for originally.
So through your Mayor, I believe the librarian said, a roll of vinyl, we might need 2, but 1 roll is $19.99 a roll.
I think we're good then.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I wasn't sure how much that. We can pass that.
Thank you, Seamus. Any other questions of Seamus? Councillor Hodge.
Just want to say thank you, Seamus. This is really good. I did notice the ice word when I came up, but in the photo, you notice it's crooked. It wouldn't be perfectly centered, would it? That
Well,
would stress me out.
we
Is that just a test?
Yeah, so we kind of.
Okay. They're going to be centered,
So,
right?
yes.
Okay.
So through your Mayor, we put that up just to kind of have a visual and then
Yeah.
we, with staff knowing this presentation was coming, it allowed
Yeah.
counselors
It
an
looks good.
opportunity.
I like it. Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
I'll read the recommended motion that the council of the township of Asphodel-Norwood accepts this report for information, and further that the council directs staff to proceed with the project presented to enhance the Asphodel-Norwood Community Center Festival. Moved by Councillor Ward, second by Councillor Walsh. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. Seamus, I'll let you continue on with the Westwood Park Picnic Shelter update.
Thank you through your Mayor. So this report is about the Westwood Park picnic shelter that was proposed. So recommendation that the council of the township of Asphodel-Norwood receives this report regarding the Westwood Park picnic shelter for information. And further that the council of the township of Asphodel-Norwood endorses completion of the Westwood Park picnic shelter project. In the initial stages of developing the 2022 to 2026 Parks and Playground Plan, picnic shelter in Westwood Park was not included. Following feedback from council, the idea of a Westwood Park picnic shelter was introduced to staff, who recommended its inclusion in the plan. Staff's plan is to follow the same procedural approach used in 2023 for the construction of the Norwood Park picnic shelter, and are opting for the direct acquisition procurement less than or equal to $10,000. So section 5.1 of the township's procurement and disposal of goods and services bylaw, number 2019-46, grants the department manager authority to directly purchase goods and services up to 10,000 from vendors under the terms deemed appropriate. The department manager may obtain comparable prices for known suppliers who can provide acceptable quality goods through a request for quotation or services at comparable prices. Throughout the Norwood Park picnic shelter project in 2023, staff were pleased with the local suppliers involved and had positives dealing with them. By adopting the design approach used in 2023 for Norwood Park, staff can leverage the existing engineered plans for cost saving, which amounted to $1,548.10, including HSD in 2023. So the proposed location, staff conducted a site visit to the park, to consider the best location of the picnic shelter. When deciding on the potential location, staff took the following into consideration: the proximity to the existing park amenities and parking lot, limiting interference with the baseball diamond, considering potential use by residents, does not hinder any future plans for the park, maintaining accessibility for machinery and vehicles required for maintenance and construction, and does not obstruct the park's low point, allowing for proper drainage and preventing water accumulation. So engagement on June 13th, staff met with the library CEO, librarian, and presented the proposed location of the shelter, which was subsequently confirmed as the final location. And on July 12th, 2024, staff posted notice flyers at both libraries and municipal office, as well as the community center, informing residents that this staff report would be presented to council July 23rd, 2024. At the time of this report, no feedback was received when this report was completed. So shelter materials. So before I say that, I'll answer one of the councilor questions. So thank you, Councilor Ward. It's 27 by 17. It's the size of the pad. It's the exact same size as Norwood Park. So staff got quotes from Public Works. To prep the site would be $300. Earl Carter concrete for the concrete pad would be $8,748. Havelock Timber Mart for the materials would be $9,174.74. Brian Leeming to do the labor at $8,000, and the building permit fee would be $300 for a total budget of $26,522.74. Financial implications, the 2024 capital parks property improvement budget included $26,638 for this project. This portion of the budget will be satisfactory to cover the cost of the shelter. Engagement with the CEO librarian as well as public works staff. Conclusion, township staff recommend that council endorse the completion of the Westwood Park picnic shelter project.
Thank you,
And
Seamus.
then on the back was just a picture of where the proposed location would have been.
Right. Any further questions of Seamus? Deputy Mayor?
Thank you through you, Mayor. Thank you again, Seamus. Just if, this is approved today, what are you looking at for a timeline on this to have an idea?
So through your mayor, we will be reaching out to public works staff, either this afternoon or tomorrow, to find out when they can do the work to prep it. And once it's, approved, we would be reaching out to the other contractors, letting them know that, hey, it's gonna be prepped by, if it's not the end of this week, it will be getting next week, and the goal will be to try to get this project done as fast as we can.
Turn around. Good, thank you.
Any further questions? I'll read the recommended motion that the council of township Asphodel-Norwood receives its report for information, and further that the council endorses completion of the Westwood Park picnic shelter project. Moved by Deputy Mayor Burt, second by Councillor Hodge Greaves. All in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you, Seamus. And you're not off the hot seat yet.
Thank you, through your mayor. So the third report is a report about Boys and Girls Club of Kawarthas. They sent a request for a reduction in rental fees to council, and staff researched a lot of information and providing this report. So a recommendation, the council of the township of Asphodel-Norwood receives this report regarding the Boys and Girls Club of Kawarthas. Request for reduction in the rental fees for the twenty twenty-four camp. For information and further that the council of the township of Asphodel-Norwood selects option 2 as presented. So the Boys and Girls Club has operated since 2021 here in Asphodel-Norwood. They also run camps out of Lindsay as well as Peterborough. When township staff met with 2 Boys and Girls Club staff members in the fall of 2023, like we do every year post-camp, to go over, review how things went for the summer. One of the members from BGC inquired about the possibility of receiving a rental rate reduction. As I mentioned, other places that they rent out are way lower than they do here at Asphodel-Norwood. Township staff informed that they must submit a formal request letter to council outlining their requests. So on April 16th of this year, 2 township staff members and 2 Boys and Girls Club staff members convened to discuss the 2024 camp and how it would look. During this meeting, a BGC staff member inquired if the township ever received a letter for the rental reduction in rent. Staff informed them that we had it, and then also found out that the staff member who was supposed to send it no longer works for Boys and Girls Club. So during that meeting, one of their other members subsequently let us know that we would be receiving it as soon as possible. Staff received the letter on June 19th in advance of their programming starting July 2nd. This correspondence was duly included in agenda material for the regular council meeting on June 25th. Township staff have previously communicated specific dates when the arena floor and Millennium Room would be unavailable to BGC due to Friendship Club Council Jamboree when we put the ice back in. However, upon receiving their schedule on June 19th, it was noted Boys and Girls Club had requested the space during those days when we already told them that it wasn't available. During the camp's second week, it became evident that Boys and Girls Club have begun using both the Millennium Room and the arena floor simultaneously on certain days. Previously, they only had access to one. So for example, today they were in here for a bit. Then we asked them by 10 o'clock to vacate to go to the arena floor so we could come in, clean up and set up for council. Each evening after Boys and Girls Club finished at 6 o'clock, township staff clean and prepare the facilities for the next day. This includes wiping down tables, dust mopping, using the floor machine, cleaning the Millennium Room washrooms, and checking and potentially changing garbage bins. When both spaces are utilized, we do the same thing to both. Furthermore, on days or evenings when the Millennium Room is rented out for other events, staff dismantle the setup, prepare for the alternative event, and then reset up afterwards. Below is a chart of what they paid the past 3 summers. So when they first started in 2021, the fee was waived. That was prior to me starting. 2022, they paid $9,652.39. 2023, they paid $9,712.35. And then the projected cost for 2024 is $11,441.25. So to just touch on that quickly. So last year, they left Tuesday, Thursday to Peterborough. So days that they're here for the full day, we charge them the day rate, which is $288 plus HST. Days that they leave to Peterborough. So this year, for example, they only go to Peterborough on Wednesdays. So right there, you're only leaving once instead of twice, therefore you're paying more day rates. So when they leave for Peterborough, we charge them an hour in the morning because they're here 8 to 9, then the bus picks them up. And because it's a Wednesday, we're only charging them for an hour at night, because by the time they actually get this room, it's probably closer to 5 o'clock from when the Friendship Club leaves. So this year, on days that they go to Peterborough, which is only Wednesday, they're being charged 27 in the morning, 27 at night. In their request, they stated they pay a flat rate of $80 per day as other school facilities, allowing them to maintain affordable programming costs. Staff contacted the Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board to inquire what they actually pay, just to double check. So staff were informed that in 2024, they would be paying $135.32 per day. That's including HST. They previously, Boys and Girls Club, operated out of Adam Scott, but due to this year during rentals, they've been moved to a different location. They also indicated that before, schools used to be heavily, another way to generate income in the off season would be running camps. They now let us know that there's only 3 one-week programs the whole summer. One in Lakefield, there's a girls basketball camp, and then there's another, Cavan FC runs a soccer program. They stated the main reason for that is summer, it's for a school, that's the only time you can actually get projects done. Right, so I know using our high school, for example, here, the last couple summers, they've had to do renovations for welding in those rooms, which you can't do that. I'm sure students would love it if they did it during a school year, but you can't do that. As well as they also stated, due to their staff vacation times, summers are getting difficult, right? if you're a custodian or teacher or whatever it is, I'm sure you'd prefer to maybe take your time off if your kids are out of school instead of you take a week off in January when there's not as much to do in the summer. So 3 options presented to council. So option 1, we authorize a flat rate of $80 per day as they requested. Option 2, make no changes to the 2024 contract and encourage Boys and Girls Club to apply for a council donation, noting that the maximum annual donation limit per group is only $500. Option 3, direct staff to introduce a youth programming facility fee in the fees and charges bylaw at the upcoming council meeting. Financial implications. So if council were to consider adding a line item into the fees of bylaws or a flat rate for youth programming, it would impact the 2024 recreation budget projections related to Millennium Room and Arena Forum. Engagement, community program coordinator, as well as the Cloverfield Pine Ridge District School Board. So conclusion, staff are recommending that council selects option 2 and advise the Boys and Girls Club. And then attached was the letter that they requested to council.
Any questions of Seamus, councilors? Councilor Walsh?
Through you, Mayor. Thank you very much, Shane. This is a very detailed, background on the Boys and Girls Club. And obviously, we love having them here every summer, but I think in reality, I'm aligned to your option 2 is they came pretty late to the game to ask for a reduction this year. We actually just passed our fees and charges bylaw literally
May
1
1st.
or 2 months before that. So I think to go in and make like an adjustment this year doesn't make sense. That's not to say they can't look at your point, another line rate for another year, but right now I think we gotta hold tight to the fees we have set. Because to give them a break, and then we've also got many local groups that are using it, and if we're giving an outside group a break and our local groups are not getting a break, I could see that causing some major stir that we don't need. So I'm comfortable in supporting option 2. Again, if you want to come forward with a $500 donation, hey, it's $500 in your pocket, that we would certainly consider it in plan.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Just following up with Barry, yeah, I'm in agreement. I do think we have to stick with option 2. If you're looking at, youth program, we have, Girl Guides here, we have different organizations, something maybe to look at for 2024 as an option. But we can't start in July, almost August to, start to affect this budget. So, they can certainly go to the donation page and fill out that form to come back to council next time. But yeah, I'm in alignment with Councillor Walsh that we need to stick with the option 2. And certainly we love having them here. It was, it's great having them here in this community. Families don't have to drive to Peterborough for camps. But it's a lot of work for your staff to keep this camp going. And, we can't overlook that.
Councilor Wall?
Thank you, through Mayor, tagging on to what, both of my colleagues have been talking about. It's the cost of doing business. Like you just it was a great outline of how much staff time it does take to prepare the space to get ready for another rental. The other, just a comment, I don't think any of the schools have air conditioning. I think that would be a big plus, having a summer camp and you can go into an air conditioned room, because I don't believe any of the schools have air conditioning unless they're brand new.
3 minutes, just to touch on that. So we actually had a custodian that signed up for a fitness center membership this morning, that they said, summers are not great because to save money, they actually shut the AC off.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and that's another cost of doing business for the township, it just is. The other question I have, because if the donation request does come forward at a different time, do we know, and this is maybe something you could look at, do we know the percentage of children that are attending the camps that actually live in Asphodel-Norwood? Because when you are giving donation
Yeah.
requests, that was just something that may be coming back. We don't need an answer right now, but I'd just be curious about the percentage of people using the camp from our township.
So through you, Mayor, I have reached out to the Robert from Boys and Girls Club last night, asking if he could send us the percentage for 2023. So we have an idea. Each week we do check with the staff to find out how many campers they have. The first week had 14, I believe. The second week had 23. That's considerably down. whether it's the first week for the fact that maybe the parents aren't sick of their kids yet, right? Or it's your first week that they just missed school, you spend time with them. But we had noticed that, it doesn't feel as, like 2 summers ago, they were closer to 35, 40. And the last summer, they took a step back for a bit to make it more manageable for their staff. But we set up about 24 chairs in here and we get to have to go get more chairs. So they gotta be hovering around that number, but I'll continue to check with them every week so that you can be informed, so that at the end of the summer, we can compare it to the last 2 years to be like, oh, maybe the numbers are down, maybe it's other reasons, there's other camps
Right.
or a lot of reasons, but, once I find out from them, I'll be sure to pass it along.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Seamus. I'll state the recommended motion that the council of the township of Asphodel-Norwood receives this report for information, and further that the council selects option 2 as presented. Moved by Councillor Ward, second by Councillor Walsh. All in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you, James. Moving along, R9, Peterborough OPP detachment board terms of references. Yeah.
Through you, Mayor. As you may recall, on the June 11th meeting, I brought a report just for the status update on what's going on with the OPP board attachments. And that was related to the Community Safety Policing Act coming together with that. Basically, we're moving from municipal boards to OPP attachment boards. One of the pieces that I mentioned at that time that we needed to look at were in terms of reference. So the CEOs and a few other staff of the municipalities are involved, that's working on those terms of reference. And they are here for your approval today. So I can tell you that the township of Mesa, Flanagan, Trent Lakes, North Kawartha, and Selwyn have all already passed these terms. Euro Dummer goes on August 6th, and Curve Lake is going to their next council meeting, but I don't have a date on that. There are 2 others in there, but I have not heard back from them on just what they're doing, but I would assume it's going to be in the next little while. So basically what we have are the new terms of reference, and we're looking for approval. So once we get that from everybody, the boards can actually schedule time. We're still working on the insurance piece as well. But we do know of some other boards that have seemed to overcome that somehow, so we're following up with them and basically see who they were using, and we'll probably end up using the same.
I was talking to David Piccini about that, not being able to get the insurance, and he says, well, they have it down here in Port Hope. I said, well, can you please find out how that is and pass information?
The other one we heard, the city of North Lakes got theirs too. So yeah, we're following up with any of them have gotten to say, who are you using? And then we'll be working from there. So we're hoping that that will be sorted out shortly. I will look to get an update out to you on that one since they have it.
Thank you, Alan. I'll read the recommended motion that the council of the township of Asphodel-Norwood receives this report for information, and further the council approves the terms of reference the Peterborough County OPP detachment board. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Ward, second by Deputy Mayor Burt. Any further questions, comments? Councillor Walsh?
From you, America, just 2 quick questions on the board administration appointment. So there will be a board administrator compensation for that board administrator will be absorbed by all of this. Or one portion of it.
For right now, it's going to be one of the other municipal staff that will be in the municipalities. So we're not anticipating anything this year. Once we have a better handle on just what that role is going to mean and how many hours it's going to take, we'll probably be looking at something for 2025 for that, but I think we'll focus on that.
And just a second
Yes.
question, and again, it's remuneration of so the provincial appointees would be remunerated, and again. Who's covering the cost? So that's
Through you there. My understanding is that it's the provincial ones that is through the province.
Okay.
So it should. The province, when this was introduced, was basically, it was going to be revenue neutral. That shouldn't be costing us any more than what the previous system was. So under the previous system, I think the chair was getting a stipend, be paid for that. So, you know, once we have a little bit more detail, we'll get a little bit better answer on that, but we're not expecting
It was pretty revenue neutral.
Okay.
I
That's,
can guarantee you that the province revenue, or the remuneration for the province will be more than what the municipalities are getting, guaranteed.
I won't comment.
I know you won't, but I will, I know I. All right, we had the motion made, questions, and was everybody in favor of that motion? Thank you. Alan, action list?
So as I do every month, I'm just giving a little bit of update on the app management action list that we've got. Everything that we had planned, I think, for this meeting, except for, we had moved one, which was the budget that we're gonna talk to you about it. The approach that we're gonna take, and we're gonna talk about it at this meeting, we're actually not gonna talk about that at the August meeting. I believe I had mentioned the last meeting that we'll probably be seeing a little bit more public works department stuff than we had seen for the last couple of months, because our new manager is down in place. So probably kicking off in August and September, we'll start to split a bit more from them. Generally, we're moving forward well on everything, and I think we're in pretty good shape. At one point, the clerk and I had a conversation about whether we were gonna need the August 27th meeting or not. Based on the number of things we've already got there, we're thinking, yes, we're going to need the August 27th meeting, so, yeah, things are moving along.
Okay. Any questions of Alan, councilors? No? All right, can recommended motion that the council accepts this report with the revisions suggested by staff and members of the council. Please, all in favor, the motion's carried. Correspondence, on to correspondence for action, C11, Loyalist Township. Deputy Mayor Burt?
Motion to support.
Motion to support. Can I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Moore. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. Moving along to C2, or C12, sorry, Prince Edward County. Deadline of an accessible Ontario by 2025.
Motion to support.
Motion to support, Councillor Moore, and second by Councillor Walsh. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. C13, City of Belleville Family Doctors. Deputy Mayor Burt? Yes, we're gonna support it, yes, and I think it was Councillor Walsh, yes. All in favor? Motion's carried. C14, operational budget funding. Councillor Walsh,
I'll make a motion to receive.
motion to receive. Seconder? Councillor Hodge Greaves, all in favor? Motion's carried. C15, Provincial Municipal Fiscal Framework. What's your pleasure with it, councillors?
Motion to support.
Motion to support, moved by Councillor Ward, second by Deputy Mayor Burt. All in favor? Motion is carried. C16, AMO and OMA Joint Health Resolution Campaign. Deputy Mayor Burt,
Another motion to support.
another motion to support,
I'll second that.
and Councillor Worrell second, and all in favor? Motion's carried. Ontario Public Service Employees Union, OPSU, Child Welfare Crisis. Deputy Mayor Burt,
Receive.
motion to receive, second by Councillor Ward. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. Peterborough Public Health, C18. Request to reconsider the status of Norwood Beach. Deputy Mayor Burt,
Support with comment.
support with comment.
I second that.
Councillor Ward seconds that. Go ahead with your comment.
I honestly did not know that that was still considered a beach and that they were still testing the waters, to be honest. It's been a lot of years.
It has.
So yeah, this was a surprise to me, as probably it may have been to everyone, I don't know. Yeah, it really wasn't considered a beach for a long time.
No.
Anyway, that's just my comment, so yes, I am in support of that at this time.
Councillor Ward?
Yes, just a comment through you, Mayor. I did read a social media, post about a month and a half ago, and they were talking about all the beaches in the area, and they had the Mill Pond, like it had listed as a beach, and there were quite a few comments, so I'm actually glad this piece of correspondence came forward, because it's not a beach.
No, I went up there actually within the last couple of days, and I've gone up there twice. Where the beach was, I can remember there was a counselor at the time, if you plant trees there, that'll stop the geese from landing in this pond. No, it's not gonna stop the geese from landing in the pond because they're gonna land without going up to get grass. And right now it's all filling in, and if you look at the water in there, it's unbelievable. I don't know if anything could be done about it without costing the township millions, and I'm not into that right now. Councillor Hodge Greaves?
So, yeah, I think I was surprised, I was confused by this whole thing. But then further to that, if it's no longer considered a beach, should there be an actual sign saying this is not a beach? But I mean, local people don't swim in it. But is it more, but if it's taken off the beach list, people won't swim there, but if people weren't swimming there, I feel like there's a real chicken and an egg thing. It's like it needs to have bathers to be a beach, so it's not a beach.
Go ahead now.
Through you, Mayor. So what we heard from the health department was that this is one that just had been there historically. They were going through their list. There was this one, and I believe a couple others in other parts of the county, where they were just looking at it and going, this isn't a beach, hasn't been a beach for a long time. We just want to get it off the list. I believe we have some signs that say no swimming posted up there right now. I probably want to double check that, but I believe we do have something. We don't view it as a beach. We did hear when we did the rec survey that about a month or so back that a number of, we wish it could still be. Everybody does, but I think everybody also recognizes that what's there right now, that's just not realistic. And as the mayor mentioned, there would be a significant cost that would be involved in trying to get it back there. I don't even know what those dollars would be and whether it would be worth it or not, but it would be significant.
It's almost like you would go back in time. And what I mean by that is many years ago when people in their 80s, they used to swim on the other side of the pond because that's where the fresh water come in. And then they switched to the other side where the dams, well, everything congregates there, so.
Yeah, and many years ago, we all remember it, when geese
Swimming.
started coming, yeah, there were swimming lessons, but certainly the geese are a huge problem, and it had been looked at years ago, but there's just there's no solution, anyway.
I don't mind it being off the list anyway. All right, Councilor Ross.
Mayor, through you, Mayor. Should we double check and make sure that it is signed that it's not a beach and the water's not over here, just. There's nothing more from a liability standpoint for us.
Once we send this notification back, and that kind of takes it off the health department list, we will post, I'll ensure there's something.
Okay, yeah, just for safety.
Okay, thank you. That motion was passed, was it not?
We have a mover, seconder, but not all in favor.
Okay, all in favor of that motion? That motion is carried. Councillor liaison reports, does anybody have anything to bring forward? Councillor Ward.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Just a verbal report. We met at the Heritage Center last night, and we are having an open weekend on August 10th and 11th from 10 to 2. I've already passed this info on to Melanie, and we have our next ANCH meeting on August 22nd. And we will have tickets available for the cemetery walk at the Heritage Center on the 10th and 11th. So if anybody that would like to come and pick them up, I think we have 40 that are spoken for right now after the first meeting. And we only have 120. So please, if anyone's interested, get the tickets. And you're just getting the stories and the storytellers for each tombstone ready. So it's going to be really interesting concept.
Very good.
So, through your just right, there is no price on those tickets.
Yeah, they're free. The tickets are free, but it is ticketed because we needed to know how many people are coming.
People are coming.
And the date on that, again?
The date is, September 21st, and it starts at 1, and it's a simultaneous start, so all the groups start at the same time, and they move like, if you were in a golf tournament, to the next person that's speaking. So there's 10 talks at 10 different stones, family stones, pretty interesting stories, and the rain date will be the 22nd. And if anybody would like to assist, more than happy to help.
Deputy Mayor,
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mayor, as part of my ag committee duties with the county, just if you could save the date for September 19th, that's our annual farm tour for counselors, staff, planners within the county. We will be meeting at Dummer, at the arena at Dummer, and the tours are in Selwyn and lunch as well. More details, just kind of hammering out the details there. September 19th is the date, likely same times as always, 9 to 2:30 type thing, so just so you're aware of that. And the tickets for the library honky tonk fundraiser are available. I forgot mine, but they're available if you'd like to come, and the date is September 26th, 7th,
I
okay,
think
the
it's the
Saturday
27th.
night. End of September, so
all right,
just keep that in mind, thank you.
thank you. Anyone else? Okay, moving along, Melanie or Alan, do you have anything for council? No?
Cover up the man, because
Okay. General business. First impression community exchange. Alan,
For the vice president,
general business?
first impressions, community exchange. Did you have anything you wanted to?
Add to it? The first impressions community exchange program? No?
I think the wonder was, did we want to, forgive me, through here,
Go
did we
ahead.
want to revisit that program? If anyone was familiar with that program through,
Not familiar.
I think it was through Ed back at one time, we visit another community, give feedback on what we see coming in, and someone comes to Asphodel-Norwood, they let us know what they think. and
Oh, they
just
did that. I
As a
remember.
feedback, first impressions. Oh, Mafra, thank you, yes.
Thank you.
Counselor Ward.
If I may just build on what Melanie was saying, I was able to pick up the brochure from the Teeny Tiny Summit. And so it had like, they still are available. What they do is they twin you with another relatable community, and each community tours the other as kind of secret shoppers, and they rate them. And then the feedback comes back to the business community and the community as a whole. So it's kind of like a little surprise exam that someone, it's a fresh perspective from people that don't live here, which is always a good thing. Anyways, that's what the thing is about.
Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, just a comment on that. I do like the idea. I would like to see a little bit more time pass, because it was about 8 years-ish, not even, 6 years. Was it not?
2014, wasn't it?
Was it that long ago? I'd like to see at
I,
least a 10-year gap there, but just.
I know my mother participated in one, they went to Madoc, and that was
Yeah.
just, I thought it was just before COVID, to be honest.
It was,
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, when
it was 2018.
2018.
Yeah, it was right after I started, and I was actually,
Oh,
I tagged along for that, so 2018. So you're right, that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. I'd like to see a little bit more time pass myself, because I do believe it takes a fair bit of staff time as well. If I remember
Memory
correctly, it
serves,
was
yeah.
a lot of staff time, but it'd be nice to see it come around again, it's like.
Okay,
So, yeah, I do that.
all right. Yeah.
Okay, just under general business, August 10th at the farm of Scott and Paula Cornish is the Bureau County Cattlemen's Association barbecue. Starts at 1 o'clock with the 4-H doing their achievement day. The barbecue's at 5. If you haven't been before, it's a fantastic dinner. So, you can get tickets ahead of time, but you don't have to. So August 10th at Cornish's, and then the Peterborough County Agriculture Wall of Fame will be doing their induction ceremony again on Sunday, August 25th, 2 p.m. at Lang at Heritage Building. And a few notables from our township, for inductees is Joseph Crowley, Carolyn D. Warner, and Gerald Drain. He does not live in Asphodel-Norwood, but he certainly has a connection. So those are three of them with our local connection. And sorry, August 25th.
25th.
Sunday, it's a Sunday. And that's it.
Anyone else with new business? Councillor Hodge, Reeves.
Just something, we had a cemetery meeting up at the cemetery in June. And there's a sign that's at the entrance that was posted a long time ago around when they were updating bylaws and procedures. And the sign is supposed to be taken down. And it's just one of those things that just keeps, and for some reason I thought of it today. So it's just because it states, it was when they were redoing the governance documents for the cemetery. And it's not relevant anymore than those, so it needs to come down. That was just the one thing I was thinking about.
Anything else, councillors? Councillor Watt?
Yes, just two things if I may. One, I was reading about the new MPAC and they have the new landing property pulse dashboard. Did anybody read that or go on it? So if you're thinking about purchasing a property, you can go on and see the assessments and what the previous history was, what the surrounding properties are sold for. I had reached out to Alan to ask him if maybe this was an indicator that MPAC might be going through with property assessments. He said probably not, but I just think it's an interesting dashboard to
Right.
check out. I thought it was interesting.
Through you, Mayor, it is a very, very interesting tool. Anybody just thinking about moving or changing homes or anything should definitely check it out. I wish I could say that, yes, I think that's a sign they're going in the right direction. Unfortunately, I don't think it is.
And
Go ahead.
And if I may, I have one more thing. In September, I think there's two of us that are attending the Ontario Eastern Municipal Conference. And I was just wondering if there's any appetite at the table that we might be able to move the council meeting forward a couple hours, just so that when we're traveling, it's a couple hours earlier to go to Ottawa. So maybe 11 a.m. start, but I don't know how that works with everyone's schedule, or if there's any, if we have to do a notice of motion for that, or can we do that? 11:30? Yeah, that, just so it gives.
Gives you more
like-
time,
yeah.
yes, I agree with that.
Would-
Do we need a motion for that?
I would suggest a motion for that.
Okay, motion to change the time to 11.
11:30? Does that work? with
Yeah,
everyone's
And is
schedule?
this September 24th,
No, this is the council meeting on the 10th of September.
which is currently a Zoom meeting?
Is, yes.
So
So I'm just saying,
Again, through you, Mayor. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
I suspect when the particular bylaw gets completed, that meeting will probably move in person, but. again,
Yes.
We will see at our next meeting if that's the case.
11:30 is fine, I just.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah, so I guess the motion would be if we could move the September 10th council meeting instead of a Zoom meeting to an in-person meeting at 11:30 a.m. That's the,
I've got no problem with that.
so,
Second, Deputy Mayor Byrd, all in favor? Motion's carried.
thank you, everyone.
All right, is that all the general business that we have? No? Okay, moving along. We're now gonna move into a closed session to review CAO's management goals with second quarter update for 2024 in accordance with section 239-2, section B of the Municipal Act. And the time is 2:15. May I get a motion, please? Councillor Walsh and Deputy Mayor Byrd. All in favor? Motion's carried. Back to the closed session, into the open session, and the time is 2:42. We have no notice of motions today, so we'll move on to concerning bylaws now. That's the current reading, of
Thank you, Mayor, for you. That the bylaws confirm that the meeting for the regular meeting of the council of the county of Asphodel, July 23rd, 2024. We are at the third, second, and third time and number 2024-40.
Councillor Hodge Reeves, second Mayor Bird, all in favor? Motion's carried. Also, you see your future meeting schedules before you. There's only the one on the date was the Zoom meeting, which is gonna be changed to 11:30. I got a motion for adjournment, and the time is 2:43. Councilor Walsh. Second. Councilor Ward, all in favor? Motion is carried.